I still remember the sting of betrayal like it was yesterday. The memory is etched into my soul with the clarity of freshly cut glass. It was an ordinary Monday when my life unexpectedly took a nosedive, orchestrated by someone I once thought I knew better than anyone else. The truth is, though, you never truly know someone until they show you their dark side. Let me roll back the clock a bit. My name is Jake Thompson, and up until that Monday, I was living a life that many would envy. At 28, I was climbing the corporate ladder at a reputable tech firm in Boston, and I was in a relationship with someone I once considered my soulmate, Laura. We met at a mutual friend's party 2 years ago, and from the moment our eyes met, there was an undeniable connection. Laura was intelligent, charming, and beautiful, the kind of woman who captivated everyone's attention the moment she walked into a room. We quickly became the couple that everyone assumed would last forever. Laura and I shared everything, our hopes, dreams, and even our fears. With her, I felt a level of trust one had never experienced before. We often talked about our future together, getting married, buying a house, and maybe even starting a family. I confided in her my deepest insecurities, the kind that you wouldn't dare say out loud for fear of sounding weak or vulnerable. But then, subtle changes began to occur. It started with little things, small cracks in the facade that were easy to dismiss. Laura would cancel plans last minute, always with a plausible excuse. She claimed work was demanding, and I knew her job could be tough, so I never pressed. But then, there were more missed calls and delayed text replies. She seemed more interested in her phone than in conversation with me during our dinners. I noticed her phone screen lighting up with messages from contacts I didn't recognize, but I trusted her. We all have friends outside of our relationship, right? Then came the night of our friend Matt's birthday party, when things shifted dramatically. Laura seemed distracted, constantly checking her phone and stepping away to take calls. It was unlike her. She was always the life of the party, but that night, she seemed distant, almost as if she physically existed in a different space from the rest of us. As the party wound down, I jokingly asked her if she was working as a secret agent. She laughed it off, but there was a flicker of something in her eyes. Guilt, maybe. I let it slide, thinking I was being paranoid. But as the old saying goes, hindsight is 20/20ths. The devastating moment of truth came during a company meeting the following week. I was in a room full of my colleagues when my phone buzzed incessantly. Curious glances from around the table made me reluctantly check it. To my shock, a flood of messages bombarded my screen, all linked to a social media post. My heart pounded in my chest as I opened the app to discover that Laura had shared screenshots of our private conversations, intimate details that I had entrusted only to her. She added captions that twisted my words, making them sound far worse than they were. In a single, horrifying moment, my professional and personal life were on full display for anyone to scrutinize. My colleagues whispered amongst themselves, some exchanging looks of pity, others of amusement. I felt the floor drop from beneath me, and I excused myself, barely keeping my composure as I made my way to my office. How could she do this? Laura was the last person I'd expect to betray me in such a malicious manner. I was reeling, trying to piece together what motivation she could possibly have. As I sat there, the reality sank in deeper. The person I loved had completely disregarded my trust, turning my vulnerability into a public spectacle. As I combed through the chaos she unleashed, I realized the betrayal ran deeper than I initially thought. Further conversations with mutual friends revealed Laura had been seeing someone else for months. The texts she posted were selectively edited to paint me as the villain, to justify her actions to herself and to the world. It was a calculated move, designed to protect her image while leaving me in ruins. Those first few nights after the incident were torturous. I couldn't sleep. My mind was a turbulent sea of anger, humiliation, and heartbreak. I replayed every conversation, every moment we shared, searching for clues I might have missed. It felt as if my life was unraveling, thread by thread. But then, somewhere between the sleepless nights and the anger simmering beneath the surface, I found a glimmer of clarity. I could either let this defeat me, wallow in self-pity, or take control of the narrative. The choice was mine, and I chose the latter. I decided it was time to fight back, not with malice but with truth and intelligence. I devised a plan, meticulously crafting every step. The first thing I did was contact a lawyer friend, Sarah, who, thankfully, was more than willing to help. We gathered all the evidence of the original conversations, the untouched versions that clearly showed context and intent. With Sarah's help, I also reached out to a digital forensics expert to verify the authenticity of the messages from my devices, thereby proving they had been manipulated. Next, I focused on gathering character statements. I reached out to friends and colleagues who knew both Laura and me, who could vouch for the kind of person I truly was. Their support was astonishing, and it helped to rebuild my confidence. The final element of my plan was the element of surprise. I decided to confront Laura publicly, in a setting where she wouldn't expect it, at a local charity gala we were both set to attend. With everything ready, I waited for the opportunity to set the record straight. The night of the gala arrived, and I was prepared for the confrontation. The room was filled with familiar faces, all blissfully unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. Laura arrived, smiling and greeting guests as if nothing had happened. I approached her, my heart pounding, yet fueled by a sense of justice. In a calm but firm voice, I asked for everyone's attention. As the room quieted, I addressed the situation, presenting the original conversations and the forensic analysis that proved manipulation. I showed statements from friends and colleagues, and most importantly, I maintained my composure, speaking from a place of truth rather than anger. Laura's confident facade crumbled before my eyes. She tried to interrupt, to deny, but the evidence was irrefutable. I didn't seek to humiliate her, but to clear my name and expose the truth. The room buzzed with whispers, and the tide of opinion shifted as the reality of the situation became clear. In the aftermath, Laura faced the consequences of her actions. The social circle that had once embraced her distanced themselves, realizing the depth of her betrayal. She lost credibility both personally and professionally, while I, on the other hand, emerged from the ordeal stronger than before. I took time to focus on myself, rediscovering hobbies and passions I had neglected. I threw myself into my work, earning a promotion and new respect from my peers. My circle of friends became closer and more supportive, and I even reconnected with a childhood friend, Emily, who became a source of comfort and eventual new love. Looking back, the experience was a harsh lesson in trust and vulnerability, but it also taught me the importance of resilience and integrity. I realized that while people can try to tarnish your reputation, they can never take away your truth. Now, as I sit here sharing my story, I'm living a life that's better than ever. I have a successful career, genuine friendships, and a relationship